Every time you set that alarm off, you told my people they'll never be safe. That's the message you want to send? That's what my people heard. The only way to make people understand is to be completely uncompromising in our message. As you will see.
Hello and welcome to the Geek Show. I'm Rob and we're talking about another video game today, and this one is called The Church in the Darkness. We played it on PlayStation 4. It's designed by Richard Rouse III and developed by Paranoid Productions. Now, this is an intriguing game, but before that, the setup. As you'll see in a moment, you are introduced to the game before any part of you or your role in it to a duo who set up a socialist collective. It grew very, very big. They've become very dissatisfied with how the American government were treating them, so they decamped to South America and made a commune. Your character has a goal of getting a person out called Alex, and yeah, it's mostly about the antagonists, because when you're introduced, you are not introduced as a character with an arc or a narrative. You're introduced as basically a set of ticky boxes. You have male or female and a variety of skin tones, and depending on whether you have it on the easiest or the hardest setting, that depends on how much kit you have in your bag. The interesting thing here is it's very much made by its sound design. It's, as an aesthetic thing, looking at it, it's very much calling back to sort of a pre-PlayStation 1 era stealth. Looking from above, you could invoke Metal Gear Solid, you could invoke an awful lot of things. You could invoke strategy titles, isometric strategy titles, where you control a single character. However, the truth remains, it's all about the sound design. You have tannoys playing throughout the entirety of the game, and those tannoys will have musical numbers as one of the two antagonists is singing a work song. You have them just chatting about the methodology and the sociology and the ideas behind this group and this collective, to something a bit more aggressive when you start setting off alarms. Now, there's two ways to play this. You are given ammunition and weapons to defend yourself, but whenever you come across somebody, you are given the option to approach it as a stealth game or as an action game. It gives you those tools, but honestly, it's best played as a stealth game because, like all true stealth games, or survival horror for that matter, you are incredibly under-equipped and outmanned, which creates situations where you're just running, basically. It's retro in many ways, beyond just looking like a top-down stealth game from the NES era or similar eras. It's got a lot of the stylization of... Let's just take Metal Gear Solid as the example, because if you press circle on the PlayStation 4 version, you will see this circle of vision, what the antagonists are, all the guards, all the people, the member of this commune or society can see. And it's very limited. So, although you are overpowered, you are outgunned, you aren't hiding forever. Because there's nothing worse in a stealth game than feeling so underpowered that you basically can't play the game. Looking at you, Alien Isolation. So, it gives you some sort of essence of power and ability to investigate and discover the world in your own sort of free time. Although admittedly, it's very, very hard to differentiate between people who are potentially not necessarily on your side, but understand your perspective, to those who will shoot you down. And another thing is, it's just incredibly... I guess it's just old school. You know, it's not the sort of thing that's going to appeal to a modern audience. It's the sort of thing that's going to appeal to people who remember playing this sort of thing on their old consoles and want to go back to it. But going back to those things traditionally, you're going back to a game which is broken, a game which is the game that's broken. Let's not go into it too deep, it's not the place all the time to talk about that here. But the thing about A Church in the Darkness is it's looking back at those sort of old tropes, those old types of games, using modern design aesthetics, modern design language, and bringing it to the world anew. That can go horribly bad, like Dino Dini's Kickoff did a few years ago, which you can see a review of that also elsewhere on the channel, which was bad. Or you can play games like this, which, although aesthetically pleasing, sound pleasing, everything about it is incredibly pleasing, it's just very, very hard to picture who the appeal is for beyond that very niche market. And I guess in saying that, I've answered the question myself, because this is the very definition of indie game as far as us at the Geek Show are concerned, because the AAA market is appealing to its own pocket. Genres come, genres go. So if an independent developer or designer or whoever is involved in certain games wants to see something, the best way to do it is to make it. So this is, although it's not a game I particularly it didn't endear itself to me, I don't have that nostalgic backbone to relate it to, it does appeal to me in the sense of, here is a game that people wanted what isn't being made. And that sort of thing will always make indie games interesting, and always make me compelled by what people are making out there, even if it's not necessarily for me, and that's fine. If you had something to add to the conversation, please do comment below, click subscribe, and don't forget to click that bell notification. But until next time, with other games, other things, keep it on the Geek Show, and we will see you next time.
We've had reports of someone suspicious. Everyone on your